What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Tuesday afternoon for me here, coming at you from North Texas, where it's 107 degrees. Well, it's not quite that hot today. I think it's like 104, but semantics. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day wherever you may be tuning in from. Holger Teutsch, I just saw your comment, tuning in from Frankfurt, Germany. Holger Teutsch, good to see you on the live stream, my friend. I know you've been around the channel a very, very long time. Thank you for your continued support. Hope you continue to enjoy the content. Guys, we have a full plate again today on this stream. So this is not the check ride prep stream, but it's going to be yet another. We're going to do some systems studying. We're going to do a couple other things we haven't done before, and because it's a shorter flight, we're going to actually do an RTO, a rejected takeoff procedure, and then we're actually going to do a balked landing procedure. So not quite a go around, but kind of like if you smash it or bounce. I'm going to try to do a bounce, try to intentionally bounce it so we can do a bounce landing recovery, as I will have to demonstrate one of those in the sim as well. So shorter en route flight today, but we got a ton of stuff to do that's gonna be pretty exciting, I think, to take a look at that. So we are loaded in at this beautiful Bariloche Airport in Argentina. This is a scenery from Simulation Extrema, I believe, and they also have a scenery for our destination, which is, I forget the name of it, but SCBA. Drawing a blank right now, but they've done all these little airports along here. Then we're gonna have one more flight down to Ushuaia, which is basically the farthest point south on the Pacific. Is the Pacific Rim technically down there, like the southern tip of South America? From then on, we're going to continue back northbound and make our way back to the US of A. But this is going to be a fun stream. I hope you guys are ready to get this thing going here. Flight 477. Good to see you, sir. Minfam, always a pleasure. Chris Stuper, good to see you. How does a pushback driver push off that spot? Chris, you know, it's funny you bring that up because I was looking at that myself thinking, this is going to be an interesting pushback situation. I don't know if we just pull the gate back and make a hard right turn, or if I even attempt to do an immediate left turn out here with the pushback tug. It'll be interesting, but I didn't even notice this before. We got all the Aerolíneas Argentinas cargo here, which is pretty cool to see that. I mean, if you were sitting in this view right here, you'd think it's real life, wouldn't you? But yeah, this is going to be, Bueller, we have a problem. Why is my view not bound? Oh boy, we got to bind a wing view real quick here. Stand by. Stand by. We must have flap view. One does not simply stream without flap view bound. Ooh, that's a good flap view right there. Boom, bound it. Let's just double check. Is my key not working? Oh, you know what it is? My track IR is on, I think. Hold on. I was flying little DCS helicopters earlier waiting for the stream. Give me a second. Let me shut down track IR. Ah, there we go. We're back at it. Okay. Kai, our KEI Key, welcome to Private Pilot. Glad to have you on board. As soon as Nightbot has a cup of coffee and joins the stream, exclamation point, welcome for your new perks here on the channel. Glad to have you on board. Welcome everybody else, all the other members in chat. Sorry if I didn't get a shout out to you, but we got a lot to get going, so we're going to just get right into it now. So I'm going to make sure that is off. And like previously mentioned, we're right where we left off, Bariloche Airport. Let's go ahead and get this airplane fired up, shall we? Mr. Martini, good to see you, my friend. Cold and dark airplane, so what we're going to have to do today, too, is we're going to have to, I'm also going to have to pick what kind of fault we're going to have to do a rejected takeoff. But let's go ahead and fire this thing up. Looking at our batteries, we should have proper voltages. We do. Remember what we were looking for? 25.6 volts or greater. So we've got that. And let's go ahead and turn on the external power, bring the airplane to life. Kind of weird seeing the snow on the ground out here, but I forget that this is South America, and then we're vastly approaching the southern tip of South America, so it's much colder. It's actually winter time down here, so it is normal. And this scenery is awesome. I think the scenery was like $14, and it's very nice. I mean, just the terminals, the glass on the jet bridges, it's just very, very nice. Never heard of these guys before, these developers, these scenery devs, but you guys did a great job. And I'm also picking up your Ushuaia, I believe is how it is it's pronounced. We're going to be picking up that one as well. Think Space, good afternoon, sir. Welcome. Is de-icing modeled in the Phoenix? Mr. Martini, I do not believe it's modeled yet. As far as, like, you know, seeing de-ice, right? Like watching sprayers or trucks or something. No, I don't think it is. That would be very cool if it was, though. But Not as of now. All right, crew supply, come on. Ground control on. CVR test. Let's blast through our captain flows here. Boom. 1, 2, and 3. And here we go. Status 1. Alignment is beginning. The fault light is out. On. Battery light is out. If you guys remember from our last stream, we talked about the GPWiz panel. We got a fault light here. Why do we have a fault light here? Because the GPWiz, or because the GPS is not aligned, so we can't use the terrain database. But that's what we're looking for. Good to see that. Whataburger or Five Guys? Ah, man. Five Guys makes a better burger, but because I'm in Texas, I gotta say Whataburger. But they sold out to a Chicago-based company, so screw it. Five Guys. Five Guys got good breakfast, man. Okay, auto, nav position 1, auto, arm U. Landing elevation is in auto. We might talk about this little panel here today in cruise. We don't have a lot of time in cruise to talk about stuff, but so we might just hit 1 or 2 smaller panels. This cabin pressurization is a good little panel to discuss as well. We might have to talk about that up in cruise. But continuing with our overhead flow, everything else looks good. Let's do an engine fire test 1. Engine fire test 2. And Phantom already did the APU. He's already outside. He did his flow. Everything else looks good. Let's go ahead and get the cargo heat going up here. Look good. Everything looks good. And that is out and on that panel there. Five Guys has breakfast? Yeah, they do. Maybe, unless it's just the airport Five Guys, but I've seen Five Guys breakfast. So I'm pretty sure it'd be standard. You know, John Franco, In-N-Out makes a good burger. I'm not going to lie, man. Some people hate it. I actually like it. I actually like In-N-Out. All right, coming down left-hand side, that looks good. Those are off. Everything is good there. Let's take a look at our lower ECAM. We've got oil, and let's check our hydraulics. We are properly serviced. Beautiful. Pressurization is in auto with 0 feet. Very good. Let's go ahead and get the aircraft initialized here. We'll go ATSU. AOC, flight init, and we'll go ahead and pull the data right here. So this stream will probably be the last stream of the week, I'm thinking, just as a looking ahead, because Monday, Tuesday next week, we're going to do our check ride prep streams, and I don't know if I'm going to have time to stream after today until then, so we'll see. We'll see. We're going to pull our flight plan out of there. Sazas to SCBA. That looks good. I'm actually going to come over here and get a weather as well. Five Guys is expensive, Robinson. It is very expensive. Man, y'all are talking about lunch already, making me hungry. Jeez. We just got started. You guys can't be doing that. All right, weather request, SAZ, S-A-Z-S. That's going to go there. We're going to send that off, return. We'll wait for a received message to come up. While we wait for that, we have, let's see, it's 1738. Let's take a look at our mass and balance, or weight and balance. We got 141 people headed with us today. We got 4,200 pounds of cargo and about 12,000 pounds of fuel. That works. Let's go ahead and load aircraft real time. They're going to start the boarding process. Good to board? Yes, we are. We're probably going to need to open a couple extra doors as well. So over here to the ground ceviche panel, let's go forward cargo, aft cargo. And since it's kind of cold out there, at least it looks cold, we got snow on the ground. It's 3 degrees. We're going to keep that aft door shut. What is the temperature in the cabin? 31. So it's 31 in the cockpit. Let's go ahead and open. Let's crack the door here. Let's crack the window. And we're going to look at the cockpit. It's immediately dropping temperature. I don't know why it was so steamy in here. I don't know what Phantom was doing up here to keep the cockpit at 30 C when it's 3 degrees outside. There we go. Cockpit's cooling down nicely. Let's go ahead and start plugging away the box, and then we're going to set up our failures. We'll discuss what we're going to do with the rejected takeoff and a couple other things as well. The pilot Grayson, you love Airbus, not going to lie. Well, you and me both, man. You're in the right spot, my friend. You are in the right spot. All right, we are Argentina 357, cost index of 77, cruise flight level 310. That looks good. Flight plan, SAS, departure. Before we pick a runway, let's just double check here. 144 people on board, 151 people watching. Someone's getting bumped. Uh-oh, we oversold? Five Guys Cajun fries with some malt vinegar. Oh my goodness. All right, received messages. Weather data here in Bariloche, 270 at 3. Beautiful day. Beautiful day. Not crazy at all. 270, very mild, actually. So let's go ahead and just leave that over there. We're going to select 29. Then I guess we'll back taxi 29. Our departure is going to be the Tona 1 Charlie, I believe. Double check. No, it's the Torres. Tori 1 Charlie. Insert. That goes out to Upper Whiskey 44 SQ Udovi SCBA, are on the Udovi 3 Charlie. Now I have no idea what to expect down there, so let's just, you know what, since it's a short flight, let's actually get the weather for our arrival. SAVC. Let's see what kind of runway we can expect down there. That way the box will be set up and we can focus on doing our studying and getting a couple other things done. Alright, since the cockpit has cooled down, we'll go ahead and close this. Let's go back to Jeppesen. Hey Captain, how often do you have people who have oversold tickets in real life? Man, it's, you know what, it's pretty common. I don't know how the practice is in other parts of the world, but in the US it's fairly common that airlines oversell on a regular basis. So they sell more tickets than seats available on the airplane, basing on the fact that some people are going to no-show or not show up. So when everybody does show up, you have that situation where there is an oversale. Now, a lot of the times that doesn't really happen unless it's a busy travel season, like, you know, summer, spring break, holidays. But it does happen fairly common during those peak travel times. Now, that's a curious question for any of you European passengers or pilots. Like, is that a common practice over there as well? Because I would have no idea. That's a good question for Black Box. All right, let's see. Balmaceda is in Chile. It's right past the river, right past the border. So technically it is in Chile. We're probably going to land 27 as well. I would imagine the winds are not all that different than they are up here. So let's take a look at the latest weather. 260 at 9. Yeah, so perfect. So that's going to set us up here. We're going to load. Ooh, we have a VOR or an RNAV in there. Let's take a look at the approach charts. We have an RNAV or a VOR. What do we got here today? Maybe we can do something a little bit different. All right, so we want to land 27. RNAV GNSS Yankee 27. That looks kind of boring. RNP Zulu 9, we're not going to do that. RNP Zulu 27, whoa. Yes, please. What's the difference between the Zulu and the X-ray? Ooh, X-ray looks spicy too. All right, let's dissect this real quick here. Matt Warren, member for 3 months. Thank you for your continued support. 114 here in Arizona. Stay cool, everyone. Matt Warren, dude, I feel your pain, man. I spent a lot of time in Arizona. I actually played football in Arizona, and it is, I remember just, it's like you're just walking around in a hairdryer on high blast, you know, like the hottest it can get. You're just walking around at 114. People say, oh, it's a dry heat. Let me tell you something. Once it hits like 110, I don't care if it's dry, humid, or indifferent, it is hot and it hurts. When you start getting up to that 114, you can feel it in your lungs. I mean, you can't touch anything in your car because your car is melting. Anything and everything you've left in your car that is not of a non-organic matter, it's going to be completely melted and destroyed. So, yeah. All right, real quick here. GNR says all the airlines on this side of the pond oversell. Okay, yeah. So I guess that's a common business practice, which is, it's kind of unfortunate, but I see why they do it. Ooh, the X-ray comes right off Udova, or Udovi, which we're coming in on. Any special? We have AR on this. We have radius to fix. We have a compensated barrel, so that doesn't apply. We're in the temperature range. Don't have to do any temp corrections. This one basically intermediate BOF 126 RNP 1 versus RNP 2030. What's the difference here? This one gets you a little bit lower, 2,000 feet. Why? I'm having a hard time seeing the difference here. Oh, I see. Ooh, which one should we do? This one looks like comes around the terrain a little bit more. So we got 3.05 path. And we have a 3.0. Oh, that's weak. Let's do 3.05. Let's make it different. We're going to do the RNP Zulu then into Balmaceda off of Udovi for 2.7. So RNP Zulu. Let's load that in here. Metar's wrong. It's SCBA. Uh-oh. I requested my alternate. Did I? I sure did. Let me just double check. I did. I requested my alternate because we do have an alternate. Good catch there. Receive messages. There it is. Variable at 2. Okay, -3. It's a little bit colder, but that's fine. That'll work. So RNP Zulu, we said, right? RNAV Zulu 2.7. RNAV RNP Zulu 2.7. And we're doing this off of the Udove 3 Charlie. Approach via Udovi. Insert. Doesn't Aerolíneas Argentinas operate Boeing 737s for the short haul network? I'm pretty sure they do as well, but I've also seen the Airbus, so I'm not quite sure what route structure they would, what airplanes they throw on where, but hey, just got to get a different livery while we can. The liveries are kind of sparse down here, I've noticed. All right. So there's our departure. That looks good. We're going to continue all the way down. This has us going all... No, we don't want to do that. I just have to go to cooler. Okay, so we need to get rid of cooler and BA 330 off the Charlie arrival. So that's going away. That's going away. Clear the disco. We don't need 2 Udovis. We can clear this. Insert that. There we go. That's what we're looking for. And that fix there at Udovi is at 11,000 and it's a flyover. So let's just verify. This is at or above. I'm going to make that a hard altitude of 11,000 feet. Insert that for our VNAV purposes. You can see only 321 miles. So not a very long flight at all here. Let's go ahead and hit the magical barrel key. 10008 is set. 10008 is set. And we can continue working down here in the box. What do you do for your charts? I'm just using the EFB from Fenix. I believe they're linked right to Navigraph. So, all right, secondary flight plan. Let's go ahead and do a secondary. We're going to just load up our departure twice here, in case we need to come back around. SAS, secondary, arrival, ILS Zulu 29, secondary, perf, all the way over to the approach phase. 1008, temperature 3, no wind, and baro is, let's call it 200 off of what we're at, so 2760, call it 3,000 feet. Should look it up, but I don't want to. 3,000 is set in the secondary. RadNav, don't really have anything to program right now. I might come back to this page. For progress, let's just put in the departure airport and the runway. And for perf, that leaves us there. We'll go to init B, leaves us with fuel and 0 fuel weight. So our fueling is complete, 12,200 pounds. We'll go 12.2 there. Double check it is balanced. 4620 across, beautiful. Let's get our fuel tank pumps on. At that point, seatbelt sign can come on. Things are looking up. Things are looking up. Get rid of the fuel page. How are we looking on here? Let's go back to our departure airport real quick. Do I need to hard tune anything? No, it's an RNAV departure, nothing to hard tune. So we're not going to put anything in the RadNav page. That all looks good. So from here, let's go over to our weight and balance real quick, see how we're doing. We have 141 or 75 of 141. Let's run a quick perf takeoff. sync load sheet prelim, sync the live weather. What kind of speeds are we dealing with? And then we're going to talk about our special departure that we're going to do today. 32, 40, 40. Flex at 58. We're going to do flex, though. First, here's the thing. We always do Togas. I should start doing flexes for the sim, but yeah, screw it. We'll do it from a Toga, which would be worst case scenario. So we're going to do, if we're going to force Toga on this as well. These are just prelim numbers. That gives me a little bit more speed. 118, 140, 140. I don't know. Maybe we'll just do it from a regular flex departure. What do you guys think? We might do it from a flex. A couple of super chats coming in here. What do we have? Chance Rindell. Thank you so much, man, for your $10 super chat. He says, got my wisdom teeth out yesterday. Nothing like a V1 stream to pass the time. Oh, man, that is a painful experience. Hope you have a quick, speedy recovery. Thank you so much for your $10 super chat, man. Glad to have you on board. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Flight Force 77 also coming in with a $2 super chat. What's going on? It says, those Gus in Beta 10 got me working. I am not in Beta 10. I don't want to run any betas, but I have seen some stuff that looks pretty darn good, man. So thank you, Flight Force, for the $2 super chat, man. Welcome aboard. Benny also in the house. Good day to you, sir. Always a pleasure. 20 months of your continued support. Thank you very much, man. When you live in Arizona, did you keep a white towel over your steering wheel? I hope you didn't have black interior. No, I did have black interior. I did not keep a white towel over it. I just would put sunshades up if I remembered. But yeah, most of the times you can't touch the top of your steering wheel. It's just, you just don't. All right, let's set our top altitude 310, and we're gonna look at the faults here because we got to find out what we're gonna trigger for an RTO. So what we're going to do today, if you're just tuning in, you're not a member of the Discord, I told the Discord people that we are going to do a rejected takeoff. So a rejected takeoff basically is a system failure that is critical enough to abort the takeoff prior to V1. Once you hit V1, you're pretty much going no matter what, for the most part. High-speed abort is considered about after 100 knots. That's technically the high-speed regime. So I want to do some type of fault here. Let's go manual failures. I wonder if we can do I don't really want to fail an engine. What should we do? We could do I'm afraid if we do fire, what if we do a side stick? Could do a side stick fault. Screw it. I want to save fire stuff for our check ride prep stream. So let's go flight controls. Let's do Sidestick Fault Captain. We'll do it at 110 knots, above 110. So anytime above 110 knots, we should get a fault. We're going to arm that. All right, so that is armed. Hopefully we don't, hopefully we'll be all right. Roberto Soriano, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream, dude. Glad to have you on board. Yes, indeed, the V3 is working mighty fine, my friend. The Throttletek camera is coming online. We'll be using this today as well. We're going to actually put this puppy to the test here today for the first time. We're going to do some RTOs, and then next week we're actually going to start doing some single engine stuff. So I cannot wait to use the throttle box with that. But welcome aboard, Roberto. Glad to have you on board the stream, my friend. Hope all is well with you. This is a custom airport scenery as well. Stabilizer fault. You could. Engine failure. We're going to do engine failures and fires on the check ride prep stream. So those will coming out. Those will be coming. Gavin Cornell, been a minute. What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream, dude. Welcome. A door unlocked. So not a lawyer. That's interesting that you bring that up as we wait here for the rest of the boarding. So you know, an unlock, a cargo door light is not necessarily an immediate return. So it depends on, obviously, when that unlock will happen on the takeoff roll if you're going to abort. But that's actually kind of a trick that they give us in the sim sometimes. They say you'll be in the takeoff and you'll get a cargo door a light come on, or like cargo door unlock. And it's our procedure that you actually keep going, because if there's no excess vibration and there's no cabin pressurization problems, you're still pressurizing, it's most likely a sensor. So in some of our evaluation flights, they want you to actually keep going. We've had crews that immediately declared an emergency and came back and landed 10,000 pounds overweight because they thought the door was unlocked when in fact it was just a light. Now on the takeoff roll, that's going to be a different scenario. But yeah, if you're like, let's say you hit V1 and rotate and you're going up and you get a light unlock, you're going to know right away if that door actually is open or not. I've heard a couple different things saying the airplane can be rendered unflyable, or I've heard, I mean, it can be extremely violent and you'll definitely feel the vibration. But if you don't feel any of those things, most likely it's just a sensor fault. So now would I take that airplane out over the ocean? Probably not. But it all depends on the situation, right? We say this a lot on the channel, situation or situational. But I just thought I'd bring that up because you said a door unlock, which is it's interesting. It was kind of a hot topic item last year. We talked about it. Am I connected to VATSIM? I should be. I am. First batch of throttles are ready by first week of August. A lot of guys will be getting emails soon. Very good to hear it. So guys, if you have ordered your Throttletek, whether you got a mini box or a V3, sounds like Mr. Roberto has the first batch of throttles are ready to be starting to ship out the first week of August, perhaps. So that is awesome news. Good to hear it. Thank you, Roberto, for the update. All right, let's go ahead and go back to our loading situation. We can probably start the APU. Yeah, let's go ahead and start the APU. Start warming it up in here. I've tried to reject the takeoff after V1 in the sim, and I still had enough runway because I was in a big airport. So why is it necessary to take off if you have enough space to go? Thank you. That's a good question. And, you know, I've heard there's actually examples of this where I believe it was in Charlotte where a crew aborted the takeoff after V1 because I don't know if they hit a deer or they hit something on the runway. And it's a good thing that they aborted after V1. They still stopped, went off the end a little bit, I think, or maybe they didn't even go off the end. But had they have taken off, the airplane would have crashed anyway. So the question remains then, what do you do? Oh, spam call on cue. Look, the book says at V1, you're going no matter what. Now, remember, situations are situational. If you have a 15,000 foot runway and you just hit a truck or something and ripped your wing off, you're probably not going to rotate, and you're probably not going to continue after V1. But the book says at V1, you're going. And if you don't go and something bad happens at all, guess whose fault it's going to be? It's going to be yours because you did not, or because you did not continue to take off past V1. So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. But the book says at V1, you're going. So that's what you should definitely be go-minded. Dealey, I had that same fault with the doors over the passenger as well. Over the passenger doors and over the over-wing doors in the PMDG, had the same exact one as you did too. I think it has to. I think if you just thrust up and like kind of put some pressure into the cabin a little bit, it will it'll close, reseal them. All right, we got our APU on. Let's go ahead and get rid of external power. Let's close up some doors. Boarding is complete. Oh, we can close them all up. We'll close you, pull that, pull that. We didn't wait 3 minutes, but it's not a limitation. Remember, it's only a recommendation. We'll go ahead and get that APU bleed online. That's going to start pressurizing. Let's get our final numbers from our load sheet. 126 1 and 30.1. Set. And we'll wait for our numbers to populate. Crow, what's going on, man? Welcome. May I confirm that the channel batter is a sim shot? What does that mean? Alright, so hour 38 extra gas. That looks good. I don't know why we have this. I don't know why it was negative numbers. Okay. 19 minutes extra gas. Don't have a lot of extra gas on board, but I think we're going to be just fine. That is good. And all right, let's get our terrain on. And let's do our perf speeds, our finals. Well, we're going to depart runway 29. Let's say it's wet because there is snow out there. Optimum, force toga, anti-ice, engine because we have contaminated surfaces outside. Packs on. Sync the final, sync the live, and calculate. 116, 140, 140, flap 1. .8 in the radio as well. All right. So why we're using engine anti-ice after engine start? Because we have contaminations on the airport surface. So you can see there's snow, ice, slush. If you're taxiing over that, very important to get your engine anti-ice on because you can suck up that that moisture or that not really debris, but contamination, and it can cause some damage to your T2 sensor, your T2 probe, and you don't want to be doing that. So we're going to put our engine heats on, which are going to heat the engine inlet here as well. That's pretty much all that's heated. When you have engine anti-ice on, the wing anti-ice will remain off for now. So that is all set. Let's go and get our beacon on before start checklists. I still can't believe it's snowing in South America. I know, it seems weird, doesn't it? But it's true. All right, windows, doors, and slides closed on. Beacon on. Thrust levers idle. Parking brake is off. Brakes released. We're going to hook up the tug after we get rid of the jet bridge. Beautiful. Connect the tug. This is going to be an interesting pushback. I'm going to try an immediate, what is it, tail to the left from this direction. Yes, we're going to do an RTO on this departure. Does terrain radar in front of the tower affect people in any way? No, Andrew, because this terrain radar is coming from the, well, this isn't peaks mode, but no, it does not. We don't have, do we not have peaks mode in this airplane? Or is it because we're on the ground? I'm gonna have to check when we take off. All right, tug is connected, brakes released. We're going to push tail that way immediately. Turn. Ooh, boy. Wow, good thing we cleared that fuel truck. Now we can go straight back. Wow, that's awesome. That was pretty good. That worked out good. Very quiet. Phoenix is getting weather radar and sim update then? Is it really? I'm sure they'll be working on it. I don't know. I haven't heard that, or is it official that it will come with weather radar? I know it will when it's available, but I know the Microsoft's got to actually release the, what is it, the API or whatever. All right, that should be far enough back. Spot 4. Could turn though. We could come out of 45 here. Let's do that. Do 45 to the left. That should be good enough. Let's go ahead and stop the pushback. Captain pushes complete, set brakes. Brakes are set. Clear disconnect. Show me the pin out front. We're going to be starting engines 1 and 2. Copy that, Captain. Clear to start engines 1 and 2. Boom. He's going away. Let's get our APU bleed on. It is on. And we are clear to start. Let's go ahead and start engine numero 1. Starting 1. Enjoy the sounds that are sometimes there. CEO Neo variant. So here's another thing that we have that's a good check ride situation. Can you single engine taxi with contaminated surfaces? The answer is no. So we're going to go ahead and do a 2-engine taxi today. Let's go ahead and start engine 2. Dave Kenny, take it easy, man. Thank you for stopping by the stream, sir. Jeremy, I would love a Fenix 321. Actually, I would love a Fenix 319 just because they've already got the old vibes going on here with the older airplane and all that stuff. So a 319 would be a lot of fun, but yes, a 321, especially if they get the sharklets out and IEs. Oof, 321 sharklets with IEs is hard to beat. The startup sounds are not bad, Elias. They're just, I wish I could turn them up. I can barely hear them. All right, he's taxiing out. We're waiting for number 2 to finish. There's the veil light. Doing a flaps 1. Everything looks good. All right, APU bleed can come off. Engine anti-ice 1 and 2 can come on. To see the increase in idle speeds there. You see that? Look at that. So, interestingly enough, my last winter I was in a Neo, and I didn't realize, I mean I did realize, we turned on the engine anti-ice for a ground taxi, and the sound, like it just, they were spinning up much more, not aggressively, but they were much more pronounced in the Pratts when I turned on the engine anti-ice on the ground. I was actually like, why, is it gonna stop? But yeah, it was like, doo. It actually sounded really cool, but it's just something I hadn't done in a very long time. Like, yeah, we actually need engine anti-ice on the ground. We happen to be in a Neo, fired it up, and they started spooling up for that ground idle with the engine anti-ice on. So that is good. Everything else is set. We're trimmed down 0.1. That's not how we set it in the real airplane, but it's set now. Beautiful. Love moving that trim wheel. It feels really good. Company message. Let's go ahead and finish the rest of this out here. Let's go to the McDo Atsu received. Load sheet, accept. We added 5 more. There we go. We added 5 more for the 5 additional viewers. And compliance with, okay, Argentina, return. Beautiful. We'll put this on the flight plan key. Why does the N1 increase? Because you have to increase your idle speed to provide the bleed air to keep the engines warm. So you're taking away air from the engines, so if you can compensate for that by increasing the idle speed. So that's why they'll spool up on the ground. And it also increases your fuel flows as well. All right, so we got 2 good starts. Let's go brakes released in a second. Let me call that sim up here. And we're going to back taxi to 29.
Holding point runway 29. Tráfico Bariloche, Madrid 361, punta Pista 29.
Bariloche traffic, Argentina 357, got a taxi runway 29. Give away the traffic out there already. So he's going out there that way. No, do we have to back taxi? Let me double check here. No, it goes all the way. Alpha. Carter, you feel very cold at this airport. I know, man. It's nice, isn't it? I can't wait for winter. Winter is the best. Fall is my favorite season of the year. I love the fall time. But I absolutely love winter flying. It's just, it's beautiful. You can see the snow-capped mountains, the snow. Everyone's in a good mood because Christmas holidays are around the corner. I like it. I like flying in the winter for sure. All right, Miss Jungles, welcome to the stream. I saw you check in earlier. Thank you for joining. All right. How was the 319 older since Airbus rolled out the 320 first as history's? It's not, well, so yeah, you're right. 320 actually came first, but the 319 tip is most 319s that you fly on are older than 320s now, because at least in the US, because a lot of the airlines have gotten newer 320s and they've never, you know, the 319s, you'd have to look at the last production 319. I'm not sure when the last new 319s were, but at least for us here in the States, a lot of the 319s are much older. It's currently 24 there, Miss Jungles. That sounds like I need a jacket. I'm not gonna lie, I left the house this morning. It's actually a pretty cool morning here for North Texas. It was 82 degrees, and I was like, hey, I could put a jacket on. 82. Final light, yes, the 319 Tolus is an absolute joy to fly. We're going to be doing a majority of our check ride prep streams in the Tolus as well. And one thing that was very refreshing, when I got in X-Plane, I launched X-Plane the other day to just do some bindings. I wanted to bind the Throttletek to the Tolus, and to my 319, and I bound the entire box in probably 3 minutes. The binding situation is so much better in X-Plane. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable how easy it is to bind stuff in X-Plane. Jeremy, I don't know if they're not building the 319 anymore. I don't know the last time I've seen a new 319 out there. Now I know there was like one 319 Neo and there's some orders for 319 Neos, but I'm actually curious myself. I don't even know when who's taking delivery of new 319s. Almost time for RTO? Yeah, we're going to do an RTO on this takeoff. Thanks for reminding me. Last time I was on 319s from Vegas to Seattle, it was only a quarter full. It felt like it was on Saturn V for takeoff. Oh yeah, 319s, man, they are fun to fly. 319 is a tank. Tibet Airlines. Ooh, interesting. Thank you, Budkin. I'm not even sure if Spirit will get 319 neos, depending on what goes on with the whole merger thing. Flew on a 318 between Denver and Mazatlan about 15 years ago. Wow. You know, that is one airplane we've never seen. I've never seen a 318 in the sim. I've seen them in real life, obviously, but I mean, not anymore.
Really might want to later back.
We're going to hold short of 29. We're going to do our stuff here, short of the runway. This is another thing that tend to not do any flight control checks or anything on the move when you're in a contaminated surface.
Have a nice stream. See ya.
See ya. All right, brakes are set. Because you just want to be heads up mostly on a contaminated airport surface. So, real quick, let's do a flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, or rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Auto brakes max. Takeoff config check. Radar is on. PWS can't move it. TARA for the transponder 2000. Bariloche traffic. Argentina 357 departing runway 29er. Bariloche. Alright, so runway is clear. He's gone. Gosh, this just looks so good. Final's clear. Alright, so we do have an RTO set up. Keep that in mind. Now, you won't be able to see the ECAM because I've got the cams online, but this way you can actually see the movements of everything. And I also forgot to do that. Snow textures are nice. I haven't seen any of these snow textures before on the ground.
Bariloche traffic, line 515, push back and start on terminal. Bariloche traffic, line 515, haciendo retroceso y arranque.
Ah, he's doing the control. He's doing his call outs in English and Spanish, showing off. All right, here we go. Since we're doing this one for an RTO, we're going to do it all from the cockpit. So spool them up 50. Yoga. Man, Toga, SRS runway, auto thrust blue. Thrust set. 100 knots, check. Project, I have control. Jeez, that was close to V1. Spoilers, reverse screen, decel, 70 knots. Manual braking. Bariloche traffic, Argentina 357, projecting on the runway. Auto reverse down to aircraft stop. Parking brake is set. Flight attendant oh look, I even put my finger here. There's flight attendant stations right here. Flight attendant stations. Alright, ECAM actions. What do we got? Flight control left side stick fault. ELAC 1 fault, ELAC 2 fault. Direct law, protections lost. Man to pitch trim use. Okay, clear flight control. So that's a good good thing you aboard on that one. It goes right into direct law. So at this point, towers will be like, you need assistance, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I think we're going to be good. We can go ahead and clear the runway. All right, brakes released. Go ahead and taxi Charlie Alpha. Charlie hold short of Alpha for Argentina 357. All right, continue. Taxi. We'll exit here at Charlie. Hold short of Alpha, Argentina 357. Now at this point, remain seated, remain seated, remain seated is the call from me to them, so they know, hey, we're not going to do an evacuation. And we can go ahead and clear the runway. But that's actually a pretty good RTO. That one was very close to V1. It was like, I was actually getting ready to lift my hand. I was like, what speed did I program it for? Because that V1 call, you typically call it about 5 knots prior. So that would have been bang, bang. I know you couldn't see it, but I saw the fault populate on the ECAM a little bit before the alarm went off. And as soon as I see that fault, that amber caution, Sidestick Fault, I'm aborting. We're below V1, I'm aborting. I'm not going to take her airborne. Let's go ahead and clear the active here. We'll hold short of Alpha, and we'll clean up the aircraft, and we'll go back and try it again. Let's go ahead and set the brake, and let's go ahead and clean up the airplane, retract the speed brakes or spoilers. Let's get our lights off. All right, how are we looking? We deal with the fault. Now, we go back to the gate in this instance, so let's go ahead and clear the fault. And then we'll take a look at our brake temps. Yeah, I want to see that. Now, I know they need to be worked on. Yeah, 230 C right now. Nah, they'd be higher than that. Even though it's only 3 degrees outside, it would be over 300. All right, let's go ahead and go back to our fault page. And give me my flight controls back. Okay, so that should all go away. That's good. Let's go ahead and get the brake fans on. Let's release the parking brake. Let's go ahead and start taxiing back out. You get 2 takeoffs for the price of 1. Bariloche traffic, RG 357. We're going to try this again, taxi 29 via Alpha. All right, let's go ahead and recycle the flight directors. Climb nav is blue. Taxi light on. Nice strobes. Thank you. What a fake pilot. Let's go. Now time to go back to the hotel, pour a bourbon, and put your feet up. Yeah. Look at this view. I would love to go here. I have no idea where this airport. I mean, I've never even heard of it before than when we flew in.
Bariloche traffic, land 515, taxiing to runway 27 on Alpha. Bariloche traffic, land 515, rodando a pista 27 para vía Alpha.
I mean, this just looks like an awesome place to go visit. And you got the land guys with perfect accents. Doing proper radio calls. It's like, who the hell is this gringo down here? All passengers are inside their seats from that. Captain Jared, yes. So let's talk a little bit about that RTO while we're taxiing back out to the runway. So what are you looking for when you do an RTO in the sim and in real, and also in the real world? First and foremost, the most important thing you got to remember is aircraft control. Whether you're at a high-speed abort phase, which is generally above 100 knots, or even below 100 knots, depending on the type of failure, you may have a tire blowout or something, you need to make sure that aircraft control is your primary focus, right? Maintain not just aircraft control, but directional control on the runway center line. You want to keep that airplane on the center line. Now, if you have a fire breakout, then it could be a little bit different. Sometimes if you think about it, the technique would be turned downwind of the fire so the flames aren't blowing onto the fuselage. But, in the heat of the moment, if you think about that, good on you. I'm not saying I would or I wouldn't. It's like, man, if I'm on fire, I don't know if I'm going to remember that part. I'm thinking about getting the airplane stopped, getting the fuel off, fighting the fire. But if you do remember to point the airplane in a direction where the wind will blow the flames away from the fuselage, that's also very beneficial. So aircraft control is number one. Second most important thing is now post RTO. What did you just do? You just slammed on those brakes, and depending on the outside air temperature, you could very easily get a wheel fire. We just saw a wheel fire on that Spirit Airlines aircraft in Atlanta. I saw the guys post the video of that, but didn't even reach 300 C. I got the brake fans on too, though. But an RTO at 118 knots like that, yeah, they would probably be 300 C easily right now. So if you want a good brake temperature simulation, the TOLUS does a very, very good, excuse me, I got the hiccups for some reason. The TOLUS does a very good job of simulating brake temps and the wear. So that's another thing you got to think of. And I've had it where I've actually gone to a hot brake area because your temps are so hot that you don't want to go back to the terminal because it's a danger, and you need to go to a safe spot, a safe pad where there's nothing around you, and then the fire trucks literally are just going to sit there next to you looking at your wheels so they don't catch fire, and if they do, they're there to spray them out. And sometimes they might even preemptively foam them. So those are a couple things that happen with an RTO. It's a very violent procedure. I've talked about my RTO before. It's rough. It really is rough. My buddy did one high speed RTO in Vegas. Their headsets flew off. That's how violent it was. Like the headsets actually flew off their heads during the RTO. So just got to remember, number one thing, aircraft control, directional control, keep it on the center line. And then once you've completed the reject, you're not out of the woods yet. Monitor those brake temps, get to a safe spot, get the fire marshals out there looking at your airplane, and then you're going to go from there. All right, we're going to hold short of 2.9 here at Alpha. Pretty much everything is done. We'll do another flight control check just to make sure we got our side stick back. Hold short of 2.9 right there. Let's get our taxi light off. And brakes are set. And here we go, flight control. Hope I got the wheel page up. Full up, full down, neutral, left, right. Beautiful. All right, let's watch him depart while we let our brakes cool. There was a fire at United yesterday in Denver. Interesting. Aaron Hastings says, is it automatic reject upon any master caution warning, or do you cross-reference ECAM? You mentioned you might not reject for a cargo door fault earlier. Yeah, so Aaron Hastings, any red warning, you're gonna reject for. I mean, you really are. That's a master warning. Master caution, there are a couple items, depending on the situation, that you may not abort for. So you do want to cross-reference. You definitely, the safest thing, I don't even want to say that the safest thing is always to reject, because that's not even really true. It may not be the safest thing to reject. But it's just you have to be able to process information very rapidly. So anything red, yeah, I'm aborting. Amber, it's going to depend a little bit more on what speed am I at. Am I already in the high speed regime, or am I still below 80 knots? So then there might be a little bit more thought to it. Bariloche traffic, RTO 357, line up and wait to 2.9. All right, let's try this again. When doing your flight control check, does each pilot check their controls separately? Not with the callouts, but yes, we individually check them. So like flight control check, I call for the flight control check, and I do this. FO says full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, and then he will check his silently. And because I'm not looking at his flight control check or mine, because I'm taxiing the airplane, right? So I don't want to be heads down staring at the flight control page while I'm doing a flight control check. That's why he's making those verbal call outs, so I can hear him saying, yes, you're at full deflection left, full deflection right, you're back to neutral. And I can just keep my eyes outside while I'm taxiing the aircraft. All right, we'll give him about another 30 seconds to get out of here. Now we're going to do a little like hostaging. We got 330 watching, appreciate you, 148 likes, unacceptable. You guys must not like this content. I think we need to go back to the gate. I'm going to need, let's see, if we hit 175 likes, we'll take off. If we hit 200 likes, I will do thrusting up from the outside view. So if you want to hear full yoga from the outside view, we need 200 likes. If you want to take off, we need 175 likes. Let's give this guy about another 15 seconds. And then we're going to roll out. 200 likes already. Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Here we go. He is at 7 miles. Bariloche traffic, RTO 357 departing runway 29er on the, what is it? The Taurus 1 Charlie departure to the south. Bariloche. All right, here we go. Yoga's in chat, outside view, watch your ears. You guys asked for this, not me. I'll turn the sim down a little bit. Nose forward on the stick, spool them up 50. Here we go. Yoga. I like it. Man, Toga, SRS, runway auto thrust is blue. Thrust set. 100 knots, check. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Gear up.
Bariloche traffic, land 515, line up and wait, runway 29.
Fly with. Look at that 320 down there, barely on the taxiway. You could barely see him in the snow. So that's a beautiful takeoff. All right, here we go. Man, Toga. There's our acceleration altitude. Lower that nose a little bit. There's our positive trend. We'll go ahead and get into that auto thrust range. Nice and slow. Thrust climb, nav in. We're approaching 2,500 feet above field. At that point, we no longer have to shadow the controls. Oh, look at that. What a beautiful part of the world. Man, it's just so beautiful down here. Oh my breakout view. Jeez. There's S-speed. Let's go flaps 0. I gotta stop saying let's go. I don't like that. Flap 0 off takeoff checklist. Because it's not let's go, it's flap 0. Command and response. Some instructor critiqued my sim partner on my ATP check ride on the Embraer. Something that just stuck. He's like, it's not let's go, it's flap 0 or flaps 2. You are commanding an action. Oh, look at that. We still have the engine anti-ice on because we're in and out of the precipitation clouds here. Or precipitation cloud, in and out of the clouds, which is visible precipitation. We'll go ahead and set standards for you and me, STDs for you, me, and Mr. Phantom over there. We got a bank angle check to the left coming up here. Wow, look at this. Is that a ski resort?
Departing runway 29er.
This guy must live down here. He sounds just like he's from Bariloche. That must be a hell of... That looks like a ski resort. It's got to be a ski resort, right? Brighten it up a little bit here. There we go. Bank angle check to the left. Let me get the lights off first. There's 10,000. And bank angle check. Some pilots say please. You can say, so please, you know, please is okay. Tend to try to keep it short and sweet, you know. Saying there's nothing wrong with saying please. There's nothing wrong with not saying please. That's Cerro Cathedral Ski Village. Wow. I don't care what the DP says, I'm going to say yoga from now on. Miso, yes. Here in the United States, we do turn the wing lights on. Now, I don't know if they do that in Europe. I remember there was a memo about that a long time ago, about wing lights in Europe. I think it depends on the operator, though. That stuff is very operator specific. Here in the U.S., though, 99% of airlines, we do turn on the wing lights below 10,000 feet. Some turn them on even higher at 18,000. John Padfield says, I'm a Brit. There's a lot wrong with not saying please. I can see that. Oh, I never rearmed the speed brakes, so when I did the disarm, it armed them. 230 knots max there. We're getting back on the path. Wow. Captain Jerry, you're flying the jar from Dublin to Boston. Good luck, sir. You're going to need it. Have I ever been a DPE? No, Jeremy, I've never been a DPE. funny enough, though, I actually thought about it recently. I was like, maybe I should go be a DP, but nah. I don't know. All right, it's pretty much straight out from here on out. So let's go autopiloto number 1. Brake fans should have been off. Oh, so look at that. We took off with our brake fans on. Here's something that's crazy. So let's just say this stream right now was my actual like LOE or my check. I would fly all the way to the destination, or like I could say, oh, I left the brake fans off, turn them off, go all the way to the destination, finish the flight. On the examiner or the check airman, whoever's in the is working the sim session, is going to say, okay, you guys failed takeoff phase. Like, what? What do you mean? He's like, yeah. And then he's just going to say you failed takeoff phase, and then you go back and do the takeoff again because we left the brake fans on. You are not supposed to take off with the brake fans on. That is that's part of your limitation. So 300C on the brake temperatures with brake fans off. It is our policy that you have the brake fans off for takeoff. So if I left them on and I took off, is anything going to happen? Is anything wrong with the airplane? No. But as far as check ride is concerned, I now have to go back and redo that portion. And if I don't realize that I left the brake fans on, and I do it a second time, then at that point you can actually bust it, and you need to have to do a retake. So it goes on your record. Something as simple and stupid as that. Oh, hello. Thank you. Ah, appreciate it. Looks like lunch has been delivered, folks. All that Five Guys talk. Oh, very nice. We got ourselves another refresher today. Beautiful. And a salad. How thoughtful. How thoughtful. All right, expect some turbulence ahead, Captain. Thank you, Minfam. Ooh, yeah, I'm starting to pick it up already. All right, so since we're getting a turbulence report, let's go ahead and select speed 290 knots here. We won't go all the way to 330, whatever our climb out speed was. We'll leave our seatbelt sign on. Let me just do a quick systems check here and make sure everything is good. That's fine, good. One other thing we can do today, we have less than 148 passengers. We're actually going to put the pack flow into low. So looking up here, we have our pack flow selector. It's kind of a good check ride topic. When would you alternate the pack flow selector? So basically what the pack flow does is it will alternate, or it will adjust the amount of flow from the packs into the cabin, and it will depend upon your company's SOP on when you manipulate it. Typically it's on a seating capacity, so below X amount of passengers on this type of airplane with the 319, 320, or 321, you keep it in norm, or you can put it into high, or you can put it into low. So below 148 in an all econ configuration, you would put it into low in a 320. So we're going to go ahead and put it in low, and you'll actually see these valves going to the low side. Isn't that cool? So that can save you a little bit of fuel. Not a lot, but it can definitely save you a little bit. Now, conversely, if you were in a hot and humid environment, the cabin just won't seem to cool down, and you got a lot of people on board, you can put that sucker into high mode, and it will increase the flow from the packs to the cabin, and it will help cool the cabin a little bit quicker at the expense of some fuel. Now, there is a caveat to that flow selector, and that is it will only work if you have dual bleed operation. So you have to have both engines running. If you're on single pack or just the APU, it is always high flow. So that's kind of a check right question there. You know, if you're on the APU and you have, you know, it's really hot in your cabin and you can't cool it down, you're on the APU on the ground, why don't you move the selector into high flow? The answer to that question is, well, because we're only on a single bleed source, single bleed source, APU bleed only. It's always in high, even if I put the switch in low. So that's kind of a trick question. Cabin is mighty cozy. Is 25C too warm? I guess that might be a little bit warm. Not for me. For all you guys, it's too warm here. We're like all you Brits. You guys like it freaking cold and rainy and miserable all the time. So let's go ahead and turn it all the way down for y'all. We'll do that. That's good. Ooh, look at these views though, man. love it down here. This is awesome. This is going on the bucket list. Salad is a better choice than the fish. Igor, what's up? Says, hello, sir. Great stream once again. Glad you're enjoying it, Igor. Welcome on board. I do apologize. Looks like my camera is a little bit bent. I am still waiting for a proper mounting solution to my new desk, and then I'll get the cams a little bit more professionally set up. But we'll go ahead and get rid of the Captain cam for now. Does pack flow affect the air power from the passenger's overhead vents, or are those completely separate? So you mean like the flow that comes out of the PSUs, the passenger service unit overhead? No, it will increase that flow volume, Aaron Hastings. You're absolutely correct. It will increase the flow volume because you're pushing more air through the system. So you're absolutely correct. You will feel it there. How does APU bleed work on engine start? Santiago Montoya. So APU bleed during engine start, when you move the engine start switch to ignition start, you can actually hear pack valve, the pack flow valves close, and then the APU bleed will then reroute all of its bleed air automatically to the engine start. So unlike the Boeing, you know, when you go to start the Boeing, we have to go to the overhead and you got to turn the packs off, make sure the APU bleed is on. That's all automatically taken care of here in the Airbus when you move the ignition start switch to engine start or ignition start. And if you can hear it, and you can hear it in the Fenix too. So if you're sitting there on the ground with the APU bleed on, you hear the air in the cockpit, move this over to ignition start and just wait for a few seconds. Don't even start an engine, just wait, and you'll hear the air drop off because it's routing the air for the engine start at that point. Hopefully it's smoothing out. So we do have a pretty short flight. We'll enjoy our climb out here. Not snowy on this side, interesting. How's the weather down there? It looks beautiful. I have never even thought about visiting this part of the world. Not because I have anything against it. It never really comes up. Like the southern tip of South America, never came up. But after seeing these views on these last couple streams, I think I'm gonna make it a point at some point. I'd like to vacation down here with the family. Either go to a ski resort or I don't know. I just want to come down and visit this part of the world. I have spent 0 time here in real life. 0. Jeremy, they will come back on. How long does it take? 2 minutes? I don't remember, Jeremy. I don't remember. It does, though. It does. You're absolutely right, Jeremy. So if you do turn it to ignition, but you don't start the engine, after a certain amount of time, a couple minutes, it will actually reroute and come back. And it will actually start putting air in the cabin again. Our company is 160 on a 321 on low, or our company is less than 160 passengers on a 321 on low, or less than 140 on the 320-319, I think. Yeah. See, it all depends on company SOPs. All right, so we're leveling at 310. We'll go ahead and manage the speed. We're going to accelerate. We don't need terrain mode on anymore, so I guess we do not have peaks mode. That's very interesting. We don't have peaks mode on this airplane. It's an older terrain system. All right, that's down. Let's go ahead and put this back down over here. I think it's smoothed out. It seems pretty smooth for right now. So since it's a short flight, let's go ahead and let them run. Seatbelt sign is coming off. And then we're going to do a little bit of Airbus. We'll do some more studying here. Prefer Bariloche in the summer for hiking and camping? Nice. Where did you get your side stick and tiller from? So the side stick is from Flight Sim Projects, FSprojects.eu. Link is in the description. And the tiller is no longer being produced. The gentlemen that were producing it are active pilots, and they went back to flying. I just got a heat advisory. My current location. What do we have? Heat advisory. What's the outside air temperature? That's not even that hot today. It's only 100 degrees. What's this guy talking about? Yeah, it's only 100. Feels like 104. It's cool outside. But anyway, the tiller was made from Cat 3 design. Santiago says, how is it connected to the engine? Like, does it power something else in the engine? The APU? No, the APU doesn't power anything else, but it will route. So basically, through a series of valves and check valves, the APU bleed pressure is what's used to spin up the N2 inside of the engine. So that internal turbine, that's going to spin it up, and then at that point, you know, the FADEC's going to, at 50, around 50%, FADEC takes over, controls everything else. Actually, no, the FADEC is doing its own thing. That's the PMA. Different. Getting confused now. But no, the APU, all it does for engine start is route air to spin up the engine, and it blows air into the N2, which in turn begins to turn the N1. That's why you see the N2 spool up first, because it's a smaller turbine. It's actually a little bit lighter. Starts to spin up, and it's geared, and then the N1 will start to spin as well, but at a much slower speed. And you can hear it. You can actually hear if you're outside and you listen closely to it, an engine start, whether it's, and I know the Airbus does, I see it, Boeing's the same thing, but you'll hear a little shh, and that's the valve opening, and that's the air being pushed into the engine for start. But then as far as the start protections, the FADEC, when the fuel goes in, when the ignition starts, all that is controlled separately in the engine itself through the FADEC control. All right. Like I said, short flight, company message. What do they want? Is this our final load sheet? And then we're going to talk about, we'll talk about the pressurization panel. Interesting. Just another spam ACARS. Cool deal. All right. So let's take a look at the overhead real quick. We talked about our Jip Whiz, we talked about a couple other things. This cabin pressurization panel here, it's a pretty small panel. We've got 4 different switches here. We have this manual vertical speed control, we have a manual mode selector, and we also have this rotary knob here that's, I always say, make sure it's in the auto position, and then we also have a ditching push button. So first and foremost, let's just start right from left. The ditching push button, this is a guarded switch. Obviously something important happens when you press it. What does the ditching push button accomplish? Don't have to be specific. What is that? It's a simple answer for the ditching push button. What does the ditching push button do? And why do you think it's on the, for the bonus, why do you think it's on that panel specifically? Closes the outflow vent. It does close the outflow valve, correct? It closes all the valves. Correct, Cruz. Yep, so the easiest check right answer on that is it closes all valves below the water line. Where is the water line? I couldn't tell you. I imagine it's somewhere probably on the midway point on the fuselage, maybe a little bit higher. But by definition, when you press the ditching push button, it closes all valves below the water line. And it's for landing in the water. Message Soli. So, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Soli forget to press the ditching push button? Wasn't that one of like the big criticisms of that whole thing? Is that they didn't actually get to the ditching push button because it was at the very end of the checklist? Ginar says it depressurizes the cabin so you can open the door. No, that would be the opposite, my friend. Close though, Ginar. Close. Yep, closes outflow valve, seals the cabin. Chris Run, you're correct. Exactly. Yeah, he did. Ah, okay. So it was never pushed in Cactus 1542. Yeah, so that was one of the big stinks, was they never closed the hit the ditching push button. Now, that again, you know, that goes to your company SOPs and your checklists and all that stuff. You have to do what your book says to do. Why the ditching push button was at the bottom of the checklist, I don't know. I think it's since been probably adjusted. But what also wasn't at the top of the checklist was starting the APU, which is what Mr. Captain Soli Solenberger did. Immediately upon losing power to both engines, he said, I'm starting the APU. That bought them some critical time, and that bought them some critical systems that to remain online. Now that is kind of debatable because we don't really know. Like we don't really. Nobody was there, and I haven't actually looked at the tapes myself. Some people say that one engine was still producing power. That's why the rat never popped out. Some people say that he had enough power to power the flight controls, would have been a normal law. Some people say that he would have lost everything, but he started the APU. So whatever the situation was, by starting the APU, he was able to preserve normal law, the flight control computers, and all that good stuff, and it kept them in pretty good shape all the way down when they landed on the Hudson. So he started the APU by instinct, which is great airmanship. It absolutely is. And that's something that you may think you're going to remember, but, you know, when something goes wrong, ding, 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 boom, like, the APU may not be the first thing on your mind, but it is a very important step in preserving aircraft systems and power to the airplane so you can keep flying the airplane. Now, you can always fly the airplane on emergency electrical power, which is a battery power, and then the rat out. But it is much different than when you have a full electrical power suite available to you, such as the APU. Some people say a lot of things, none were there facing the stress. Exactly. You're absolutely right. Plaza Green, you got a customer service agent cross-chain with an airline? That's awesome, man. Congratulations. All right, so since we know what the ditching push button is, what about this landing elevation knob here? Now, this is in the auto position. What happens if I move it into the non-auto position? What is that whole rotary knob situation for? This is kind of a tricky question because it's kind of a two-part answer. But you become a 737. It's for when you miss the retro Boeing. You guys are absolutely right on it. You're absolutely right on it. So all that button does, all that rotary knob does, is it takes the landing elevation out of its auto mode. And you can see here, we have manual landing elevation on the ECAM. It's kind of hard to see because we got all the lights coming in here from this amazing lighting situation that we have in the sim, which still never ceases to amaze me. I mean, look at the glare off these screens here. But manual landing elevation is on the ECAM. There's nothing wrong. You're still in normal. All pressurization, here's the key takeaway. All pressurization is still automatically controlled. However, you manually set the landing elevation. Now, what is the landing elevation for our destination airport? Let's take a look at it. I don't even know. I think it's probably pretty close to sea level. Jeff Hell, what's up, man? It's on a real life plane right now. It's not going to stop you from watching a V1 stream. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Let's look at our... That's not where we're going. SCBA. Here we go. Arrival. Nope. Approach. We said we're doing the RNAV Zulu right here. And airport elevation is 1722. So you could theoretically manually set your landing elevation Is that in thousands? I actually don't even know. Let's see. Yeah, that's 1,000 feet. What are we at? 2,000? I went too far. 1,500? Jeez, I went the wrong way. How do these Boeing guys do this? 1,750. So if for some reason the airport database did not include the airport that you were flying to, you could do manual landing elevation. So Jeremy, that's why I just saw your question, Paolo. That's the answer to your question, is why would you ever manually need to adjust the landing field elevation? That is because maybe you're doing a charter flight, maybe you're taking a sports team somewhere that your airline doesn't fly to on a normal basis, or for whatever reason you're landing at an airport that is not in the aircraft's database, you can now set the landing field elevation. Now that's something that we always check on our pre-flight startup, right? So I check it when I get in the airplane. I check that it's in auto, and I check that it has the proper landing elevation for the destinations that we're going at. Now, that's also checked on the overhead. When you come up to the overhead, you see me go through the flow. I always check to see it's in auto, because you can mess it up, but for the most part, it's not like a super dangerous switch. It's just like the old Boeings operate. So we'll put it back into auto for now because the airport is in the database. And we're getting close to our TOD, so we're going to have to set up here pretty quick. But real quick, we got 2 more push buttons up here. So we've talked about ditching push button. We talked about this rotary knob. It keeps the system in auto even though you put it in a manual landing elevation mode. So it's still important to remember that it's still controlled automatically. To control the cabin pressure manually itself, and not the landing elevation, but the cabin pressure, this is the push button that you would press. So this is the mode select push button. This will allow the cabin, or will allow the crew, to manually adjust the pressure differential in the cabin if you lose pressurization, whether it be you have some type of fault or mechanical failure, and you're now required to manually control pressurization of the airplane. It's actually, I tried doing this on the Fenix when it first came out. It was pretty difficult to control because it's a pretty sensitive switch, and not being able to look at it while I manipulate it, you just run the cabin up and down, it can cause issues. But believe it or not, that's something that we do in the sim every now and then. We do a cabin pressurization fail or fault, and you have to manually control the cabin. Now, what's nice about it is the Airbus is smart enough, it will actually populate the ECAM, and it will tell you what your target vertical speeds are and what your target pressurization is while you're descending. So not super difficult. It's just one of those things that you got to be on top of it, because if you get behind it, number one, you're going to feel it in your ears. Number two, you could accidentally deploy the oxygen mask if you get behind and screw it up. So that is what the mode select push button is, and then obviously this is just what controls the outflow valve. So up, down, it would be controlling the position of the valve itself, which would then correlate to how much the cabin is either climbing or descending. All right, I didn't mean to turn that on. Will the ECAM tell you if it does not have the landing elevation? Matt Warren, yes. Yes, it will. All right, we need to start down soon. I don't know what I think it was 11,000. Let's just set 11,000. And push for managed. Let's go ahead and get the seatbelt sign on. Short flight. Let's go ahead and set up for the approach here, and then we can get back and we'll talk about what we're going to do when we land. So here we go. R&P Zulu. We got a DA of 2030. Let's put that in the box down here. Next phase. 2030. Nope, right there. That is set. Wind was variable at 3. We'll put that down there. Temperature was -3. What is that? Whoa, we have control online. Ruh-roh. Please contact me on 28.3. I was beginning to think that no one lived in this part of the world. What center is this? No idea. Center, good evening. Argentina 357, 29-6, descending 11,000. We're direct to Udovi.
Argentina 357, Santiago, correction, Puerto Montt, very good evening, squawk 1403, please.
Squawk 1403 for Argentina 357. Alright, quickly we're going to reset everything else up. This airplane wants to speed up in the descent. No, I'm going to just keep it at 280.
Argentina 2410, you are radar contact. Stop descent at flight level 290, please. Stop descent at flight level 290.
Was that for Argentina 357?
Negative. Argentina 2410. Okay. Stop descent at flight level 290, please.
Maybe he's talking to him on a different freak. I can see the traffic there. We're getting close. I'm actually going to slow it up a little bit more.
Argentina 2410.
Slow up to 270.
Argentina 2410, go ahead.
Alright, let's go ahead and finish
Argentina 2410, stop descent at flight level 280, please. Stop descent at flight level 280.
Puerto Montt radar.
Roger,
thank you.
Maintain flight level 280 for Argentina 2410.
What? We were 3 minutes late.
Argentina 2410,
Piss off.
that is correct. Expect the Udovi 3 Delta arrival and expect Arnav Yankee runway 27.
All right, let's do, I think the weather hasn't changed much. Let's just pull up our old one. Let's see the last weather data we pulled.
Argentina 357 for separation, turn right heading 270, please.
Right turn, 270, Argentina 357.
And Argentina 357, stop descent at flight level 250 for now, please.
Stop descent, flight level 250, Argentina 357. All right, 250, so I'm going to dial in 250. I hit vertical speed 0 to stop the descent. All right, so here we go. Thrust idle, open descent, 250 is blue. We're in a turn, heading to 270.
Argentina 2410,
QNH
expect the
was
3 Delta arrival and expect Arnav Yankee runway 27.
dub 10006. And we can expect the Udovi 3 Delta, it looks like. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do secondary, copy active,
Yep, just to clarify, the Arnav
secondary,
Yankee
secondary,
27, please.
arrival. Let's arrow right to arrivals, Udovi 3 Delta.
Argentina 357, for planning purposes, expect the Udovi 3 Delta arrival and plan Arnav Yankee runway 27.
Okay, we'll plan Arnav Yankee 27 on the Udovi 3 Delta arrival for Argentina 357. All right, so we're going to flip this around here.
Argentina 2410, descent flight level 150.
So we're going to change it all anyway. So Arnav a Yankee 27 off of the Udovi 3 Delta.
Puerto Montt, Centro, Land, Chile, 515.
I recognize that place. All right, that is in there. Now let's look at our plan mode.
Chile 515, Puerto Montt, muy buenas tardes. No tengo
That
plan
looks
de vuelo,
good.
podría
Sorry, I'm
enviarlo,
ignoring
por
chat
favor.
right now, guys. We got
Ahí lo reenvío.
ATC on. They jumped on, so let's get the airplane flying where we want it to be flying first, and then we will get right
Argentina
back with you.
357, turn left heading 190 and continue descent flight level 160.
Heading 190, descend and maintain flight level 160, Argentina 357. 190 and 16,000 is set. We'll just go open descent. Not technically the best, you know, when you're up in the high flight levels, but we're only at 24 knots, so
what is
it's
your
not that
indicated
high.
airspeed?
We're going to start coming down here. Open descent, 16,000 is blue. Thrust idle. We're set up for the approach. We have to change the
Roger.
minimums for the Yankee, though.
Maintain please 270 knots or more until Bravo Alpha 369er.
So the Udovi 3 Delta is what we've got, and the approach is now the Yankee 27. We'll star both of
Yeah,
those.
just to
Our new
clarify, until
minimums.
Bravo Alpha 369er is part of the arrival, is a waypoint of the arrival.
That's an affirmative. Keep speed above 27.
Udovi 3 Delta. So this takes us right to Porto. So we're not on the RF fix. That's a shame. Arnav Yankee 27.
Argentina 357, maintain a speed 250 knots or less for traffic separation.
250 less, Argentina 357.
Chile 515, activa transponder, código 1405.
All right, 250 on the speed now. All right, 250 on the speed. We're on heading.
Chile 515.
And approach for Argentina 357. Is the RNP Zulu available by any chance?
Argentina 357, affirmative, that is correct, but the Arnav Zulu is shorter than the approach that the other guy in front of you is going to follow, so I could give you that approach, but I will need to delay you a little bit. Is that okay?
Oh, that's perfectly fine. We can hold or take delay vectors, whatever you need.
Argentina 357, roger, no problem. In that case, expect some delay vectors around the area. For now, maintain heading 190.
Roger, maintain heading 190 of Argentina 357.
Puerto Montt radar, Sky 9041 started the descent.
Sorry, Team Vodka. I know the chat. I literally got swamped here out of nowhere. So we're almost back on it. So he's going to give us the RNP Yankee, which is good. So we'll still set up for that. We'll change it again for the fourth time.
Argentina 357. So for planning purposes, you can expect the Arnav Zulu runway 27 via Udovi transition.
We'll expect the Arnav Zulu 27 via the Udovi transition for Argentina 357. All right, Arnav Zulu 27 via the Udovi transition insert that.
Centro, LAN Chile 515, respondiendo con
All right.
1405.
Let's take a look at this again.
LAN Chile 515 recibido, está en contacto radar. Espere llegada Udovi 4, corrección, Udovi 3 Delta, planifique RNAV Yankee listado 7.
Copiado, planificamos llegada Udovi 3 Delta para RNAV Yankee pista 27.
So we've got all...
LAN Chile 515 es correcto, cuando listo descienda a nivel de vuelo 170.
Nivel de vuelo 170, LAN Chile 1.
We are all messed up. Jeez. Arnav Zulu 27 from the Dovey. Another spam call. Alright, so our secondary, why is our primary not correct? So hold on, we've got problems now. So Udovi 3 arrival from Udovi transition. So but we're on the RNP, so he says expect it from Udovi. So from after Udovi, that's RNP Zulu 9. That's not the one. RNP Zulu.
Argentina 357, sorry, just for planning purposes, you can disregard the arrival and only expect the approach from Udovi.
Okay, we'll expect the approach from Udovi for Argentina 357. That makes our life a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and just clean up the box here. So basically, we need to delete some information. Yeah. Where did my...
Puerto Radar, Sky 49041 with a pilot note.
There we go.
Aerosky 9041,
so
go ahead.
Udovi to BA 441.
Flight level 290. Very variable winds, but we're talking 101 knots with up and down draft, just so you know.
Aerosky 9041, Roger, thank you for the information. Yeah, indeed, we are expecting very tough weather for today and tomorrow. So,
Udovi.
yeah, probably in real life it's also quite bumpy over there.
Okay,
so
Puerto
we
just
can
to
clear
check,
out
right now
this
the
one.
broken 700 still at Puerto One.
Clear out this one. Clear out this one.
I'm sorry, say again?
Clear out
Is it
this
still
one.
at broken 700
Clear out
cloud
Porto.
at Puerto Montt or a little
Insert.
higher?
So now we only
I'm
have
still
the
getting
approach.
broken at 700 and
There we go.
overcast at 2,500.
Okay, I'm shooting the ILS, so the minimum should give it to me, but just be prepared for a missed approach. Thank you. 9041.
All right.
Oh yeah, that's no problem. That's always under consideration.
Finally, we're set up. Udovi.
Argentina 24, I'm sorry, Argentina 2410.
And minimum's back to 2030.
5,000 feet, UNH 1007.
5,000 feet, UNH 1007.
That is set. All right. Jeez, sorry guys.
Argentina 2410, I'm sorry, I correct myself. It's 7,000, my mistake, sorry, 7,000.
Yeah, we're going on a sightseeing tour indeed. I got a... Who left a voicemail on me now? Ooh, a spam call. Sure. All right. We're back at it. We're levels 16,000. We've got the approach loaded up. We don't need our LS push buttons. 2030 is set both sides. Seatbelts are on. We'll activate the approach phase when we get a little bit closer. We need an RNP of 1.0 for this approach, which should not be a problem for us. We're already getting 0.3. Our required is 0.10. I'll put that in there. But we don't even need to do that. We're getting much more than that. So GPS is primary. Nav accuracy is high. We can put the...
Argentina 357, descent flight level 110.
Send a 110 for Argentina 357. 110 in the box. Down we go. SCBA can go in the prog page. Done. All right. We're going to leave the runway out because I want to know how far you're to the airport itself. Let's take a look at this terrain because this looks incredible. Whoa. I don't even know where we were or what we were talking about, but let's just enjoy this view here for a minute. I like this controller too, Steven. He's sharp. This controller's got it going on, man. Trying to get the volume
Out
just
of
right.
Sky 94041, continue descent 4,000
Certainly
feet,
not a
remain,
boring stream.
1011.
Thanks, Chaos. I
1011, continue
didn't mean to ignore all you
4,000
there
feet
for the
for
last
Sky
5 to
Air
7 minutes,
904.
but you know, that's what flying on a network can get you. You know, when someone jumps on to give you control, it's, hey, we need to get the airplane going where we need it to go. He's doing his job. He expects me to do my job. So we got to put the chat aside just for a few minutes to get the airplane all squared
Argentina
away.
357, turn left direct to Udovi. From Udovi, you are cleared for the Arnav Zulu runway 27.
Direct to Dovi from Adobe, cleared RNAV 27 approach for you, Argentina 357. Thank you. All right, we are cleared approach on the turn. We're going direct to Adobe. We can actually arm the approach from out here, I believe. Approach is armed. App nav already on. Alt final. For practice, or not practice, we could set 3,000 on the final approach point, just as a reference. I'm going to set 3,000 feet here. 3,000 is set. How are we looking on fuel? We're 7.1. We're plenty good on the fuel. We are in selected speed. Let's just go ahead and activate and confirm the approach phase. Do we have any speed restrictions? Adobe.
En Chile 515, descienda para nivel de vuelo 120.
No speed restrictions pretty much going. Oh, here we go. Max 230 at point 2. Max 190. So basically, if I fly 180, we'll be set up all the way in here. We should put this into below mode as well, since we're descending onto traffic. We're almost at 10,000 feet. Wow, that.
Para 120.
Look at these views, man. Unbelievable. Grab your snowboards, dudes. Exactly. Exactly. Alright. We are going into icing conditions, so let's get engine anti-ice 1 and 2 on.
Argentina 2410, descend 6,000 from Porto intersection. Cleared Arnav Yankee runway 27.
Initial approach point, 110. 1 is for the mist. 2. Basically, if we go mist, you come all the way back around and hold at BA 496. Max is 230 at point 2, which is 239. So I'm actually going to dial it back to 180 here pretty soon. I'm actually going to start slowing up a little bit at a time. Here comes 10,000 feet. Let's get our Chinese speed brakes out there. We'll leave our landing lights, our runway turn off, and our taxi light off because we are going through with ATC. So that is set. I'm actually going to dial this back to 190. We're still a little bit ways out. We'll do 230. Let's enjoy some of this view. What is below mode view? It basically just adjusts the area that it's looking, the TCAS, to produce. It will populate more traffic below you. Now, it doesn't matter if you're in below and someone's above you and they're going to come into your collision zone. It will still warn you. It's just for situational awareness. You can see more. Basically, think of it as like a declutter. So if I put the TCAS into below mode, it declutters some traffic that may be above me. Whereas if I had it in neutral, maybe it's picking up that guy above me and I'm getting too much traffic, but I'm descending, so all I really care about is who's below me. That's what I would do. Aaron Hastings, no wing anti-ice. Wing anti-ice is only used when you are actively picking up icing conditions on the airframe. It is a significant performance hit, and it's suggested that you should really only use it in severe icing situations when you're on approach, because if you just use it for fun, if you have to go around, it could significantly impact your second segment climb out performance, especially down here in the mountains like we are today. Now, it's nice, cool, it's cold out here, wintertime, we're a light airplane, probably not so much of a big deal, but you take a super heavy airplane in somewhere high density altitude and you got the wing anti-ice on when you don't need it and you go around, you could start looking at some potential performance hits that are significant. So even if you use the wing anti-ice on, typically we turn it off at the final approach fix, and then we'll turn it back on if we go missed after the climb out. Cabin temp, I don't know, it's just how you guys like it, right? You guys like it freezing cold, so wow, look at these clouds. Cabin temp is 18 degrees, just like y'all like it. Let's go ahead and hit the B key. 10008 is set once, twice, and thrice. Wow, this is beautiful. Is there de-ice or anti-ice for the horizontal stab as well? Not sure if tailplane stalls are a thing for airliners. No, tailplane stall, I wouldn't say it's not a thing, but there is no heating elements or anti-ice on the horizontal stab on the Airbus.
2,500.
Okay, this approach is incredible. We'll hit this terrain.
Argentina 357, I see you flying a little bit lower than the profile. Make sure that you pass waypoint Revom at 8,500.
Roger, we're correcting. Argentina 357, thank you. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Were we in open? Let's climb back up to 8. We were descending way below profile there. I was like, man, look at this approach. We're below the mountains.
La Chile 515, vire por derecha directo Udovi, reanude Udovi 3 Delta llegada.
That's a pretty incredible view right there.
Veamos por derecha
Yeah, I'm
directo
definitely too low.
y continuamos con la llegada.
See?
La Chile
Crew
5.
distractions. Get back up on profile. You can see that we're way below the donut. I'm not quite sure what happened there. I was in open air and hit. Ooh, dangerous. No wonder it's such an amazing approach. Fake pilot in chat, exactly. All right, speed out final. We'll hold 8,000. We're actually supposed to be at 8,500. We'll hold 8,500 for rebound. Vertical speed 2,100. Yep. That was a no good. That controller's on it though. Holy crap, look at that view. I mean, that controller is definitely on it. And nobody in chat noticed open descent either. We're all fake pilots. Wow. Dealy, that's funny. Yeah, wow, look at that last CVR recording. Yeah, I was just saying, look how beautiful this approach is. Too low terrain. That would have been, part of me wishes he didn't speak up now because we would have got a JipWhiz and I could have executed my JipWhiz memory items. So that's another point of emphasis. Do that in the sim as well. If you get a JipWhiz, a too low terrain or a caution terrain, too low gear, anything like that, it is a mandatory memory item that you execute the terrain escape maneuver, which is autopilot off.
Aerosky 9041 from
Stick
Kobo
full aft.
waypoint. You are
Thrust
cleared
forward.
ILS
Basically,
Yankee runway
you're
01.
configuring. It's all a simultaneous action. It's autopilot off,
From
stick
waypoint
back,
Kobo,
thrust
ILS
up,
Yankee, runway
check wings
01,
level, speed brakes for track,
runway
speed brakes for
041,
track,
thank
checks wings level, and climb away from the ground. So that is a memory item. Would have been cool to do that on the sim, but yeah. JipWhiz memory item, JipWhiz off. Oh, jeez. All right, so let's see if we can actually capture this profile now.
Argentina 2410, wind calm, runway 27, clear to land.
Wind calm, clear to land, runway 27. 410.
All right, so we're gonna attempt a balked landing still on this. All right, so I'm going to intentionally try to smash this airplane down so we can bounce it. Hopefully the controller doesn't mind, but this is for training purposes. So real quick, let's brief a bulk landing, what happens during a bulk landing. So what that means is basically the wheels touch down and it's either extremely firm, you're off center line, some type of exceedance, and you're executing a go-around maneuver. The biggest caution during a bulk landing is a tail strike. So
La Chile 515.
the proper technique for recovering from a bulk landing is to apply takeoff thrust. You're going around, so it's go around flaps. But the the stick position is critical. You do not want to increase any flare. You do not want to try to cushion your bounce. So say you bounce it, and then the airplane is sinking rapidly after the bounce. You do not want to pull up any further on the stick. You actually just want to, sometimes you may even need to push a little forward pressure on the stick to maintain a regular flare attitude and below our tail strike clearance, right? So depending on the airplane you're flying, you'll have different tail strike limits, 9.7, 11.3, and 13.8, or 11.7, 11.8. What's the tail strike on a 320? 9.7, 11.8. 13.8, 11.7. So either way, you shouldn't be anywhere up towards 11 degrees anyway, but you want to make sure your attitude is at a normal landing attitude, and you just basically are going to hold it there, and you're going to wait for the airplane to recover. You're going to wait for the thrust to come up. There's our final lap. So we finally captured our final lap. Go around altitude is at Ba 496. Let's actually let's read this here. Climb on 271, we're going to climb and hold to 8,500 and enter hold. Okay, so 8,500 is set for the mist already. Done. But yes, you want to hold that pitch attitude, wait for the airplane to recover its flight path, and then you execute the normal go around. Look at these views. Oh my goodness. Now, what can happen too is the spoilers, when they deploy, they can actually increase the pitch attitude on the airplane. So that is one thing where I said you may have to push a little forward on the stick. I'll get the tiller cam up so you can see them. You may actually have to push a little bit forward on that side stick, because when those spoilers deploy off that bounce, the airplane's going to continue to want to go like this. It's going to want to pitch up. Now you're really risking that tail strike situation. That's where it happens. So you come in, you're pretty normal, you don't flare or something happens. That's why you hit hard, right? So boom, you smash. Once you smash it, you go up into the air. Spoilers have triggered, so now the airplane's starting to pitch up. Spoilers trigger, pitch up happens, you're sinking from your bounce. Instinctively, the inexperienced pilot is going to want to pitch up even further to cushion that bounced landing. When you pitch up further, now you're at that limit where you can have a very significant chance of hitting the tail, especially in a 321. 321 is scary low tolerance, 9.7. So we need to slow down.
Argentina 2410, welcome to Balmaceda. You can
I need to stop talking and just find the airplane, but you get the point. So we're going to try that. I'm actually going to start the recording super late because I want to try to watch the bulk landing in the replay. So I'm not going to start the recording until we're pretty much on final, because we're going to get a second shot at it.
357, wind count, runway 27, clear to land.
27, clear to land, Argentina 357, thank you. Missed the lights up here, we're clear to land, 27. So the flaps coming out, VFE next is right there. Oh my goodness, if you guys haven't smashed the like button already, just smash it for these views. These views are incredible down here. Continuing to slow to manage speed. VFE next now, stand flaps 3. Now we can reconfigure. We're looking good now. We're a little bit out of sequence with flaps 3. That's okay. We're on the path. Let's go ahead and go gear down. If your next minus 10 flaps full, we'll be right on VLS. Might have a weight discrepancy. Alright, we are flaps full. Down to land, clear to land. I'm going to leave it right at that VLS mark. Look at this. The Fenix, one thing about the Fenix, man, it's on the speed brakes. It flies these RF legs like nobody's business. It is on it. Alright, so we're on approach, we're on path, we're clear to land, final lap. Remember, if you're just tuning into the stream now, I am intentionally going to try to bounce this airplane so I can execute a bulk landing. Now, I want to try it. I don't want to remember this because I don't want to do this intentionally in my in the sim, in the real sim. But for training purposes and for entertainment purposes for you guys, I'm going to try to bounce this landing and do a recovery. Where's XP at? Maybe he can help me out. Oof, just kidding. I love XP. I read somewhere the other day that when you slam the ground, sometimes you shouldn't do a bulk landing since there could be structural damage to landing gears. Any truth behind this? Ultra Swift, it depends. Remember, I say it a lot on this channel. Situations are situational. Not every bounce landing are you going to do a bulk landing recovery. Not every smash are you going to do a go around. It just depends on the situation. But you're right. Like if you smash down and say the gear collapses, you're not going to go around. You don't want to go around. The gear collapsed on the runway, so you'd be safer to just stay in one spot. No, I'm not, there's no shots. Hey, it's only love, no shots. It's only love. And honestly, the only reason I even thought of XP is because I watched one of his streams not too long ago. Maybe it was a couple weeks ago now. He did a bounce. He bounced it, but he did a textbook, and I mean textbook, bulk landing recovery. He said, nope, we're not doing this. We're going around. He thrusted up, Toga, reconfigured, and he came back around and buttered it the second time. But he did an absolute wonderful textbook recovery on that landing. So that's the only reason I even brought his name up. Don't clip it. If you're going to clip it, you got to clip the part where I told you it's all love. It's obviously. Speaking of XP72, Orbix is on tonight, right? I think they are. On the Blue Experience podcast.
Wind count, runway 01, clear to land.
Dorian, yeah, absolutely. He absolutely is a goat.
It's land runway.
So we're gonna let. I'm just gonna let this airplane fly this RF because we'll hand fly the second one. We'll do more of a visual approach on the second approach here. We'll see. We're out of the cloud. We're gonna get engine and ice off. I just want, man, this thing is just flying this approach perfectly. All right, look at that, lining up perfectly. Man, I need to take the Phoenix into Lowly or something where it has the winding RNP through the valley, because this thing is on point. This flies RF segments like the real airplane does, 100%. I mean, look, it's rock steady. Flies exactly like the real airplane. All right, here we go. Turn the auto thrust and flight director for that landing. Turn it. Is this landing the addition for Ryanair?
1,000.
All right, we're 1,000 feet stable. I'm gonna go autopilot off. Let's go flight directors off. What? Ooh. My side stick push button got stuck down. Priority left. That's a proper call out. All right. My thrust levers. Auto flight, auto thrust off. Clear auto thrust. Clear auto flight, excuse me. Status normal. All right. This is my Ryanair edition. I'm going to try not to strike the tail. We are clear to land. We are clear to land. Oh, recording is on now. So hopefully I can record this and our second landing attempt as well. It's chilly in there. Very funny, Vodka. Very funny. All right, so typically a bulk landing, you're going to be a little bit unstable. So let's say you're coming in high like this. I'm going to potentially come in a little bit high. Maybe you're a little bit unstable. You got four whites. I mean, it's so stable right now. Thick air, thick, cool air. It's hard to intentionally be unstable. Alright, so let's bring the power out way too early.
100.
Oh, this hurts me to try
50,
to do this.
40, 30, 20, retard.
Go around flaps. Hold that pitch attitude, hold that pitch attitude. Well, that was interesting. Go around flaps. Flaps 3. Positive rate. Gear up. Tower Argentina 357 going around.
Argentina 357, roger. Follow the missed approach as published. Maintain 8,500.
Maintain 8,500. Missed approach as published. Argentina 357. All right, so push for managed nav. Toga, SRS nav. Whew. What was the landing rate on that? That was a hard one. Almost seemed like it's the sim wanted to suck me back to the ground. The airplane wouldn't really do that. Thrust climb, open climb. There's F speed. We'll go straight to flaps 1. Thrust climb, open climb, nav. Fly on the publish, very easy. We'll go autopilot 1. We got a 230 knot restriction there. At this point, it's just an after a 629. Oof. There's S speed. Flap 0 after takeoff checklist. Gears up. Flaps are 0. We'll fly on the published mist up to 8,500. We have a 230 knot speed restriction there at BAA 113. Let's go ahead and juice it up a little bit manually here. 230 selected. And we're on the go. So that was pretty violent. And I don't know what that little, like, it almost felt like a suction cup wanted to bring the nose right back down. That doesn't really happen in the real airplane. That would have been probably a high bounce. Airplane would have been way up in the air. But I don't think we hit the tail. I think we were okay. We kept it pretty much safe. Although that one, the passengers felt. Can I? What if I stop that recording and save it? Stop recording. I'm going to save this as bounce. And then I should be able to reload that replay. All right, we're speed out star, 8,500 feet. We're following it as published, 230 on the speed. And look at that. You guys get extra views. Man, more likes and viewers already. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thank you so much for showing your support. Hitting that like button. You guys are awesome. John, I'm buying shares in the local chiropractor office after that. Oh, man. Cruise my eyes. He's used to that one. Butter. Oh, man. Yeah, that definitely was a bourbon spiller. That was 100% a bourbon spiller. Let's go ahead and go engine eyes back on. Let's take a look. Are we still pressurizing? We don't have any holes in the airplane, right? Why is the cabin descending? Well, it's fine. We're at 1700, 3.4 on the PSI. We're okay. How's our fuel? We're 5.3. We're getting down there on fuel now. All right, so let's stay ahead. Let's go ahead and reactivate the approach phase. That's reactivated. We're in selected speed. We have our minimums back up, 2030. We don't need LS push buttons. We're all set up for the same approach.
Argentina 357, the wind at the airport is now calm. Do you want to try the Arnav Zulu again, or do you want a different runway or a different approach? It's your choice, sir.
Nope, we can take that Arnav 27 again whenever you're ready for Argentina 357.
Argentina 357, roger. For now, continue following the published missed approach, please.
Roger. Roger, we'll fly published missed approach, Argentina 357. All right, so we're going to fly that same approach again. This time we're going to do it for real. My back is like actually hurting, even though it looked so hard. I kind of got, you guys know that feeling in a roller coaster when you're like about to drop and you get that like burble in your belly? I literally felt that as we came over the numbers. Like just that optical sight of, oh shit, like that's what was going to happen. And like I could see it, and like trying to force myself to do it on the stick is just, I don't want to do that again. That was not good. But that's just how, I mean, that's how immersive these sims are. I mean, I literally felt that in my gut when we came over the numbers, that this is going to be a rough one. And sure enough, but we're good. It's for science. It's for science. So engine anti-ice is on, seatbelts are on. We can go ahead and get these lights off here. Everything else can stay on. We're looking good. We get to enjoy some more beautiful views here.
Argentina 357, you can continue following the published missed approach, and from Rebom waypoint, clear Arnav Zulu runway 27.
All right, continue following the missed approach from Rebom, or from Rebom. We'll continue for the Arnav 27 for Argentina 357. All right, so at this point we don't need a hold. I'm gonna get right back to that in a minute. Fuel's getting low. So I'm actually just going to go direct to rebomb after we hit the turn. We'll just cycle the box over. We're going to leave it in there. We've got a little bit of extra stuff right now for some reason. Hold on, let me zoom in. Let me just see what's going on here. So we'll BA 356 to the rebomb. Then some manual. Okay, then Disco, Udovi, back to rebombs. So it's got like 2 rebombs in there because it has the arrival in there. That's an old FMS load bug. It doesn't do that in the real airplane anymore. The real airplane, this would automatically be resequenced for us. But let's just take a moment. I'm going to read your comments while you guys enjoy these incredible clouds. These clouds look even better than they did the last time we had a stream. Are you kidding me? This is real life. Pete S., thank you for your continued support, sir. He says, as you've done a perfect Ryanair landing, will you finish the stream with a Southwest taxi? Pete S., just for you, my friend, I will attempt a Southwest taxi. Thank you for your continued support, sir. John Padfield says, good thing Airbus makes them like tanks. Absolutely, John. Thank you for your continued support as a commercial pilot, my friend. And you're absolutely right. We got a tank up here in this Airbus
Sky
320. Paul Shoesmith is flexing 25 months, V1 status achieved.
We'll have a flight
says,
back
still wasn't hard
in
enough for an
about half an hour.
inspection, though. And Paul, you are absolutely correct. So,
no problem.
as hard as that landing looked, guys,
by that time.
what's crazy is, I talked about this a little bit before, is 800, what did I say, 850 feet per minute?
357, if you wish, in order to give you a small shortcut, you can turn right direct to rebomb and start the approach from there.
Roger, present position, direct rebomb. We're starting the approach for Argentina 357. Cool. We're going direct to right now, RNAV 27. Let's go ahead and arm the approach. AppNav final is blue. But Paul Shoesmith said absolutely correct. That landing still wouldn't even trigger a hard landing report. That is a 850, I think is what I said. I wrote it down. And no load 15. Now it does also depend on G loading. You have to be about 2.3 Gs. Let me check my notes. I was talking to a mechanic, and I asked him the specific question. I was like, hey man, so what's the deal? Like, when does it trigger? Here we go. I have it written down. 840 feet per minute, which is equivalent to about 14 feet per second, and 2.86 Gs. 2.86, that's almost 3 Gs, or, this is the or, a 2.6 G loading, or 2.6 G landing at the CG point, which is the center, basically the center of gravity point. Well, that's not basically, it is the center of gravity point, which would then be the hardest, that would be the hardest felt point on the airplane. So 840 feet per minute, equivalent to 14 feet per second at 2.86 Gs, or a 2.6 G landing at the CG point. And then it would require a load 15, which would then require an inspection. But an inspection is just that. It's just an inspection. At that point, they don't even do much else other than do a quick look at a couple other things. They look at the flaps. They'll extend the flaps and the struts and all that stuff. But that's about it. Once it gets higher than that, there's different levels where they actually have to start taking panels off the airplane and looking at stuff. But your basic hard landing is right there. At what feet per minute is the risk of damage to the aircraft? There you go. Hopefully I just answered that for you. Are you using a particular mod for these clouds? No, I have not. Yours look green. These are Ultra clouds. That's the only thing. Pretty much everything in the sim is on Ultra, and I have no enhancement mods. There is FS Realistic on, which is the vibration on the landing and stuff, but that's it. Everything else is default Microsoft Flight Simulator. And the Fenix, of course. The landing is an actual help for Ryanair stewardess to make crushed ice. Oh, man. John. Yeah, by the time you experience the hard landing or the Ryanair smashdown, you're already broken from being in the airport for 12 hours of delays. Then they don't let you off the plane for an hour because there's no air stairs. It sounds like you're speaking from experience, my friend. All right, let's not botch this approach. So we're going to go... Well, Columbus, Georgia is calling me right now. I don't know about anybody there, so that's a spam call. 3 spam calls this stream. If I manage you, you're going to go right back to VAP, aren't you? We're going to keep 230. We're looking good. 8,500 feet. We should get a final lap here momentarily. We are getting low on gas, 4.9, so we need to start putting her down. Activating the approach mode does what? So activating the approach mode now allows me to push for managed speed, and the speed will then continue to decelerate until reaching VAP. And at that point, well, it won't go all the way to VAP, it'll actually stop. It'll extend flaps 1, flaps 2, S speed, and there on. However, if you don't have approach mode activated, and you didn't fly through a decel point, if you go manage speed, this is going to go up to 250 knots. And it's going to start thrusting up on you. And that's the last thing you want to do is start accelerating at 250 when you want to start slowing to 140. I've seen it happen on streamers across the globe. You know, it's just, sometimes it happens. The box will get funky. You don't fly through the decel point. You never manually activated the approach phase. And then you push for managed speed on short final. And you're like, why is the airplane speeding up? Why are you adding thrust? And then it's because you didn't activate the approach phase and it thinks it's accelerating to a climb out of 250 knots. I have never been to Thailand, no. If RNP approaches are so much more efficient, why are ILS approaches so much more common? Because they've just been around longer, Aaron. ILS has been around much longer than RNP. And RNP is just now getting to the point, and I guess it's not even RNP, but the capabilities of RNP to be as accurate as an ILS are there. It's just all these aircraft that are in service, you know, have already been outfitted and equipped to handle these ILS approaches and these ground-based nav aids down to 0-0 and auto land. They're certified for it. This RNP stuff, while it's almost like the technology is evolving faster than the airplanes are being updated to fly those approaches. You know, brand new airplanes coming off the line now, yes, of course, but you have thousands of airplanes that are still out there, right? That you know, may not even be able to. They're not even RNP certified. So that's a big factor in it. All right, there's 230 knots. The next one is 190. So let's go ahead and start walking it back.
Chile 207 recibido, viento 030 grados.
Man, we're going to get a nice little sunset here, it looks like.
35, autorizado a pegar.
735, autorizado a llegar en LAN Chile 207.
God, I need volume sliders on this thing. Phoenix, please, on your next update, give me volume. Even if it's just 2 sliders, even if it's just 1 slider, external volume sound. Just give me that slider. That's all I want, is an external volume slider. I know I wish your startup sounds were a little bit louder, but all I want is an external volume slider. There's VFE next, well below 10 flaps 1. Oh, what did I hit? Did I hit something bad? No, we're good. Do I think RNAVs will ever become precision? Yes, I do believe at some point, Evan. Can you simulate wind shear on final? Elias, that I'm not sure if you can pre-program that wind shear. That's I'm not sure. You can change external volume in options. In Microsoft settings, but then I don't want to do that. I want it on the EFB. I want it right here. All right, here we go. We're going to fly another RF leg. 190, 4600. We're looking good. 8500 is set for the missed approach. I'm going to do 180 on this one. VFE next -10. Extend flaps 2. Love it. How do you turn off prompts in the cockpit? I believe it's in the Microsoft accessibility options. I think you need to set it to legacy or something like that. Have I ever flown on a 330-900 Neo? I have not. Better than the 350 or not? I'm not sure. I think the 350 looks cooler than the 330 Neo. I've seen quite a few 330 Neos in Lauderdale. I think Azul flies them in there. A little bit of mist out here. This is awesome. Yeah, we are low on gas. 4.8. Let's turn it amber now. 4.7 down there. We are getting down towards the comfort zone. How important does an EFB play a part in your career? It's very important now. EFBs are required equipment. So,
without 357 with calm, runway 27 clear to land.
Runway 27, clear to land, Argentina 357. We are clear to land, 27.
Chile 207, contacto radar negativo, verifique modo Charlie, código 1406, por favor.
En modo Charlie con transponder 1406.
Chile 207, ahora sí, muchas gracias, contacto radar. Haciendo para nivel de vuelo 270 y vuele directo Udobi.
Say, because I'd agree with you, man.
Para 270 y nos vamos directamente a 1.
No auto brakes. Manual brakes. Manual brakes on this one. Landing lights are on. Alright, we will start the recording in about now. That way we can watch a nice one when we say goodbye. From smash down to butter in one go around. We're gonna try, John. We are gonna try, my friend. Alright, we'll go ahead and manage it up. Gear down. Speed brakes arm. VFE next, -10, flaps 3. Wow, reflections. VFE next, -10, flaps full. Dave Kenny, welcome back. You're just in time for the second landing. We're going to try to get this one a little bit better than that first one. Troll us by smashing it down harder. Well, that would be embarrassing if I land this one harder than that one. It would be embarrassing. Auto thrust, auto off for landing. We'll shut it off. I'm going to give myself an extra knot or two, though. Let's do 135. Get off that VLS. Alright, runway's in sight. I'm going to turn off the FO's flight director. I'm going to turn off... Now we'll leave that because we're on the RNP. Technically we need to leave it on. But I want to fly. Autopilot off. Flight director off. Give me the bird. Birds and chat. Chats and birds. Match and mash. Mash the thrust levers. Auto thrust off. Auto flight. Auto thrust off. Clear auto flight. Clear auto flight. Landing check is cabin crew advised. Auto thrust is off. ECAM memo. Landing all green. Landing check is complete. Birds on. Runways in sight. We are cleared to land. All the birds. Bird is the word. Centerline would be a nice word here too. It says we don't have any wind, but I feel like there's a little bit of crosswind.
1,000.
Where you are, 1,000 feet, stable. Down to land, clear to land. I see the pappies. 2 whites, 2 reds. This is a perfect scenario to smash it because it's wind's calm. It's typically how it goes. You can have the calmest approach. You just don't get the butters. I just had a reflection from the right side of the cockpit from that little pond down there. Incredible.
100 above.
It's interesting how these runway markings are yellow.
Minimum.
I wonder why. For snow? There's definitely got to be a crosswind because it's pushing me left.
$100. 50, 40, 30, 20, retard, 10, 5.
Spoilers. Reverse green. Decel. Manual braking. 70 knots. We'll take the next one. Down we go. 128. We'll take the reverse. We'll go to the end. We'll go to the end. I was going to take that reverse high speed. 128. I'll take that. I will take that, my friends. Welcome to... Where are we? Wherever we are? Balmaceda? It's just interesting how the runway markings are yellow. I wonder if that's for snow. Alright, we'll take the next right here, the last one. There was a slope to that runway. It looked much shorter than it thought. Good pilot would have briefed that. I saw that it almost looked like the end of the runway was coming up way back there, so I got on the brakes harder. But I think we had plenty of time. Alright, let's clean it up. And I guess we'll just taxi to the gate with him. We'll leave all the lights on because they're paying to reset. We'll leave the lights on.
Argentina 357, welcome to Balmaceda. You can taxi via Alpha to stand of your choice. Thank you very much for flying, and bye-bye.
Alpha, stand of our choice. Thank you very much for the ATC. We'll talk to you next time, Argentina 357. Sweet. So we're going to take it all the way back via Alpha. Looks like de-icing fluid on the markers. Yeah, it does. It kind of, yeah, it really does. Oh, yeah, look at that. This is getting me in the mood for winter flying, even though it's nowhere near winter yet. Alright, oh, I said Southwest taxi. Sorry, who was that? Was that John that wanted that? Let me get it up here. About 30 knots or so on a contaminated taxiway, just for John. I believe it was John who wanted that. 30 knots in the snow. Good way to lose your job. I'll be sliding all over the place right now. Alright, let's come in here. Let's not hit that thing over there. Where can we park? We'll park next to this guy. Let's see. We'll take this one. I think this is a spot. Yeah, I can see the green. I like that flag of Chile. It looks very similar to the Texas flag. The Lone Star. Sounds just like a 320. Oh no, we can't see the stop bar. Where's the stop bar? Ah! Almost hit the frickin' terminal. Alright. Brakes are set. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Balmaceda. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful approach here. I am going to disconnect from VATSIM. Let's do that first. We're going to disconnect from VATSIM. We are going to go into replay cam. And then we're going to reconfigure the flaps to full. We're going to turn sail off. Oh, I never stopped the recording. I'm going to stop recording. I'm going to save this recording as no bounce. We're going to try something here for the first time. Alright, so I want to replay. I want to load the first one, which was bounce. Open. And replay. Here we go. Godspeed. Look at that. Alright, so turn the sounds down. Let's take a look at our bulked landing recovery. This will be exciting. Let's watch it from the passenger wing view first. No, we do not. I don't think I've ever done a shutdown tutorial, Min. A lot of you asked for it. I just keep forgetting to do it because I just want to get into the replays all the time. I will do one though. So the next stream, be sure you are subscribed with your notifications on, because the next stream will most likely be the first of 2 check ride prep streams. They will be members only chat, but they will be very, very action packed. Everybody can view them, but chat boxes will be members only for that. So let's watch this touchdown from the wing view first. Oh, is the parking brake on? It might be. I just turned it off. Thank you, Chaos. Oof. That was definitely a smash. And then, like, see how that, like, sucked my nose down? That wouldn't really happen. And then we did a go around. Jeez, there's the flaps 3. Wow. Alright, pause. I want to watch that one more time. Let's watch this. Oh, full compression. Let's go around. And then see, watch. Like, out of nowhere, Microsoft's like, nope, you're staying with me. Back up. Watch the tail. Watch the tail. There we go. Positive rate. And then get the gear up. At some point, do I have to hit gear? I think I do, but I don't want to do it yet. Pause it. Well, that is your bounce landing. Bounce with. Exactly, Ginar. That's what it looked like out of your Ryanair window on Monday? Jeez. Let's see, if I arm the speed brakes, I think it will do it properly this time. Yeah, we were flaps full. There we go. Let's watch it from this wing view, and then we'll go to the normal landing. I'm really surprised this didn't bounce. I think we just must have been too slow. Boom! See the spoilers come up? There's that pitch up. So right there, you're basically fighting it. And then I don't know what, but you're basically fighting. You don't want that secondary lift. You don't want that secondary lift to come back and get you. Oh, positive rate, gears coming up, and all that good stuff. So that is our go around. Pretty crazy. Spoilers are stuck up. All right. Go. There's the gear up. So that's that ding. Charge the emergency exit lights. All right. Let's stop replay. Let's load the no bounce replay, and let's watch it. And here we go. We're back at it with some flap shake, with some sail, and we're gonna wrap it up there, folks. Guys, let's see, it was that was longer than I thought it was gonna be. It's a short flight turned into a 3-hour stream. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream today, flying down to Balmaceda. If I'm saying that right, probably not. Maybe you learned something, maybe you saw something different that you hadn't seen before. Either way, I hope you enjoyed it. Would the spoilers drop immediately when you select Toga? Yes, Elena's saying they would in the real airplane. This is just a replay bug. And they did in the sim too. It was just in a replay they get stuck on once they deploy, so we just have to kind of live with it. But guys, I can't thank you enough for hanging out with me. We had more likes and views about right towards the end of the stream there. That's awesome. Always love to see that. Guys, keep hitting the like button for me on each stream. It does help me out. I'm not going to be streaming here probably for a couple days. I'm pretty busy the next couple days coming up. So next Monday, Tuesday is what we're shooting for, is the check ride prep streams. If I can sneak one more stream in there down to Ushuaia, we'll do that this week. If not, I will see you on Monday. So until then, members, keep up to date with all the community information I'll be posting here coming up. Everyone else, stay safe, stay healthy, enjoy the rest of your week. I'm V1. See ya!
500.